That's a big target to be on your back going into this one.
Top 10 in the point standings are here to close out Saturday night in men's competition. Event 10 underway. 10 rounds of 9 thrusters and 35 double unders.
You want to start at a steady pace in this event. There is a lot of work to do. There are a lot of rounds in this event. It's 9 thrusters to start. Fraser's out to a very quick pace. What we've seen is you're probably trying to average somewhere around 55 seconds per if you want to stay close to Josh Bridges. Stay in your lane early. There's going to be a lot of different strategies out there in the first 3 rounds. It's what happens in the last 3 that's going to make the difference. You say, don't be a baby. It's going to hurt. You're going to feel like your lungs are bleeding. If you want to pick up the bar and move it, you'll be able to. You just got to suck it up and do it.
Matt Fraser in the white leader's jersey finds himself in 2nd place in the heat. The man 2 lanes underneath him in this shot is Noah Olson. That man is the leader after round number 1. He sees himself 2 points behind Brent Fikowski for the 3rd position in the point standing.
Well, what do we say all the time with Noah Olson? The kid loves to start fast and push the rest of the field. Now, if they're doing their job, like staying in their lane, they're going to let him go right off the bat. He started out in 42.6 seconds. You will not be able to hold that for the whole 10 rounds. But Noah knows his pace, and he likes to come out fast.
One thing that's worth pointing out is this almost seems this weekend like a different Noah Olson when it comes to his strategy. It's been a little bit more conservative than we've seen in the past. And speaking of planning and trying to do things your way, Brent Fikowski currently standing in that 3rd position.
Well, Fikowski is one of those bottom athletes when you're looking at 17.5 relative to the rest of the field. He's sitting in 3rd overall, just 4 points above Olson, but only 16 points out of 2nd. What he needs to do is what he does best. Calculate, reset, rescan the rest of the field, recalculate, compute again.
Fikowski currently 3rd in the point standings on the left. Olson currently 4th in the point standings on the right. Olson sitting 2nd place in the heat as Matt Fraser is basically doing what he's done all weekend long, and he is out in front.
Well, if there's anyone that can cycle a barbell faster than Matt Fraser in 135-pound thrusters, I'd love to see him, because I've been watching the last few heats, and this guy is he just moves so well with that barbell. He puts himself in good, just physical positions, at nice upright chest. What that does, it just allows you to breathe easier. It's not crushing, you know, sitting in that rack position, that bar tends to rest on the throat a little bit. You get a little dizzy towards the bottom, but Matt Fraser gets in such good positions. It makes thrusters easy. Well, it makes them look easier. There's nothing easy about a 135-pound thruster 90 times.
And let's think about the historical points for Matt Fraser. In the triangle couplet with the thrusters at 165, he won that event. He also had the top time in the world in 17.5. Somebody that wasn't far behind him in 17.5 is this man, Scott Panchik. He's also been creeping his way up the leaderboard in typical Scott Panchik fashion.
At the end of 2 days, we were starting to get a little nervous about Scott Panchik. He had a great open, good regionals, and he's always found himself up in that kind of 6th, 4th churning. He didn't have the good start like he usually does, but he's creeping up, just like you said.
1 lane over from him, somebody else that's slowly been chipping away on the leaderboard, and that's the 2015 champ, Ben Smith.
Well, I remember looking at the final heat about 1 day ago when we were doing Amanda 45 and didn't recognize any of the names in the final heat trying to push Matt Fraser. Your top guys are slowly clawing back into the top 10. Ben Smith is one of those athletes.
But already beyond the halfway point in terms of the rounds is Matt Fraser as he starts round number 6 just ahead of Noah Olson on the right.
And the pace at which Matt Fraser is moving is that he is on pace for an 8-minute time here for heavy 17.5.
Saw the stat earlier that Matt Fraser is 1 top 2 finish away from tying Rich Froning for the most all-time at 23. In the last 24 events since last year's game started, Matt Fraser has had 13 finishes of 1st or 2nd. It is absolute, just annihilation of the field the past 2 years.
Fraser starting his round of 7. He's already been completed 6 rounds. If I'm looking at his pace up until here, he held about a 45-second pace for the first 2 rounds. Now he's starting to float up towards the 52-second pace. You know, what's going to be tough for Matt is that if he does want to win this event, he's going to have to do it on his own, because I don't think any of the other athletes are going to step up to challenge him. The best time, unfortunately for him, was set in heat number 1 by Josh Bridges at 8:41.38.
Fraser with about a 5-second lead over Noah Olson in second. It's a 30-second lead for Fraser over third place Scott Panchik. So the 2014 Games rookies, Fraser and Olson, are putting on a show to close out Saturday night for the men here at the Games.
Now we've reached the final 3 rounds. We're right at 5:45. Josh Bridges' last 3 rounds took him right around 2 minutes and 50 seconds. If he can replicate the same speed, that would put him right about 5 seconds faster than Josh Bridges' pace.
And Fraser pulling away from Brent Fikowski, and more notably for Fikowski is Noah Olson is putting distance between himself and Fikowski.
And when you're only sitting 2 to 4 points behind him, it's 4 exactly. Noah Olson, who is doing everything he can to creep back up into a podium position, needs to stay ahead of Brent Fikowski.
2 rounds remain for Matt Fraser as he completes round number 8 at 6 minutes and 33 seconds. He has about 2 minutes to beat the time of Josh Bridges all the way back in heat number 1 of 8:41.38.
And if he wants to do it, he's going to have to do what Josh Bridges did. Josh Bridges got faster as he did his rounds. In round number 9, it took him 57 seconds. In the final round, it took Josh Bridges 52 seconds.
At the end of round number 6, the interval between Fraser in first and Olson in second was 4 seconds. Then it was 9 seconds. Now it's 17 seconds between the two.
As we watch Matt Fraser pull ahead of the rest of the field, look at Ricky Garrard on the right side getting a no rep on his thrusters. He has about 4 reps left to go. He is falling down to 8th place in this heat. So though Fikowski might lose some ground to Noah Olson, those names might flip-flop for your top 3 if Garrard can't sustain getting here in this final couple of rounds.
And Ricky Garrard shaking his head. Not sure if it was to himself or to the judge in disagreement, but either way, he will watch Matt Fraser completely put on a show here on Saturday night. He won the event earlier today in the Muscle Up Clean Ladder. He won 17.5 in the Worldwide Open with a 95-pound bar at 6 minutes and 24 seconds. In 2014, he won 1 event. In 2015, he won 1 event. 2016, 1 event win. 3 event wins in his first 3 years, and it looks like it will be 3 event wins this weekend in the 2017 Reebok CrossFit Games. He didn't need it. He's going to get it anyway. 100 more points for Matt Fraser, and he can do it walking to the platform.
That's what you call a walk-off finish for Matt Fraser.
Noah Olson has a shot to take second place. That time will go by from Josh Bridges at 8:41. The time of Dakota Rager in heat number 2 goes by of 8:44. Travis Mayer's 8:49 will go by. But we're looking at a top 5 finish for Noah Olson, who continues to hold on to his highest points position since event 1 back in 2015.
And Panchik continues to climb up the leaderboard with that finish.
You could start the rest of the field with a 200-pound jump. Scott Panchik will still find a way to finish 4th, 5th, or 6th at the Games at the end of the weekend.
I know you just said Panchik, as Ben Smith is just a couple reps away from finishing. I want to know where Brent Fikowski is, who is trying to hold off Noah Olson for that 2nd place position.
Ben Smith, 4th place finisher in the heat, good for 9th in the event. And here's Brent Fikowski. Not a bad job of damage control for somebody that was near the back of the pack in terms of the athletes here in Madison. In 17.5 in the open, he was 32nd of the 39. Patrick Vellner on the near side of the screen. Jason Smith in the middle. Janikowski on the far end of the screen. This is the fight for 6th, 7th, and 8th. Give 6th to Jason Smith, 7th to Janikowski. And Patrick Vellner trying to hang on to this position over Bjorgvin Carl Gudmundsson, who's been in a bit of a free fall the past few events. Two athletes left on the floor, and they both have massive point implications. Bjorgvin Carl Gudmundsson with a couple of double unders remaining. There's his last one. He'll hit the platform in 9th in the heat. Good for 27th in the event, and the second place man in the point standings, Ricky Garrard, is the last man on the floor with under 90 seconds remaining in the time cap. This isn't the event that Garrard wanted nor needed as a second place athlete coming in, but he's still having a stellar rookie campaign over the first 10 events with 1 day of competition remaining. But there is no more accolades you can give to that man, Matt Fraser. Last year, he won by a record 197 points. His lead after day number 3 is going to be very close to it already.
You're looking across the board, Matt Fraser, start to finish, never really slowed off his pace, especially towards the last round. Getting to the thruster bar, he had a nice, comfortable lead if he wanted to get underneath the time set by Josh Bridges. And I tell you what, there might be no better feeling than to be able to walk to the podium and still win an event.
8:24.19, only 2 minutes slower than his time in 17.5 with a 40-pound lighter barbell. Matt Fraser is simply doing Matt Fraser things as he is decimating the field here in Madison, Wisconsin at the 2017 Reebok CrossFit Games, and your points leader is with Sam Farber.
Matt, you made that look way too easy. You had enough time to walk onto the podium and still have the best time. In terms of your personal history in the games, 2 firsts and a second today, is this the best individual day you've ever had?
I think points-wise it probably is. You know, I've had days that I was prouder of, but, you know, today is what it is, so just get ready for tomorrow.
You had the best time in the open in this event. What goes through your mind when it gets re-announced here in the CrossFit Games as a surprise event, just a little heavier?
You know, like, obviously I know, like, thrusters aren't bad for me and I'm okay at double unders, but, you know, it's a completely different workout from the open. You know, at 135 kind of throws a wrench into the gears.
Well, speaking of the Open, 400,000 people all over the world took part in the CrossFit Games this year, participating in the Open. You got a brand new audience here in Madison, brand new audience watching maybe for the first time at home and seeing you and thinking maybe they can't do this. What's your message to someone to try and get them in the gym?
I tell people all the time, you know, this is the 1% of, not even 1%, you know. This isn't what you do when you go into a CrossFit gym. You know, you're usually in and out in an hour. You can modify to fit anyone, so, yeah.
Matt, thanks for the time.
Thank you.
If the games are the 1% of the not even 1%, Matt Fraser is the 1% of the 1% of the